Hello, Scorpio. I hope you guys are doing well. I want to go ahead and get into your reading for the month of June 2019. I hope you're enjoying your spring, summer, sprummer, whatever it is. I'm going to shuffle a little bit more, and then we will get into it. Show me for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, June 2019. Energies present for the sign of Scorpio. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, June 2019, please. Connecting to Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, June 2019. Scorpio. Scorpio. 7. Okay, Scorpio. First card you have out is the Knight of Wands in reverse. Why is this energy here? I mean, I don't mean to be accusatory, but why is this energy here? What's going on here? I am feeling like a Celtic cross, but the Knight of Wands is somebody who is in and out of our lives. A lot of the time they can be self-serving. They are less to regard those that they deal with. They are more into what serves them and their immediate purpose, their desires, their whims. You know, be careful about that energy, Scorpio. So that's the main energy here. The obstacle, Four of Wands in reverse. So broken relationships, broken home, communication being down between people, a disintegration in regard to the foundation within your friendship, within your relationships, within a situation regarding this person. This could also be just somebody who is in and out of your life and doesn't set roots in your home, you know. That's a possibility too. The base of the reading, you have the King of Cups in reverse. So that's you, Scorpio, or somebody that you're dealing with. The King of Cups in reverse is somebody who is, he can be emotionally corrupt sometimes. He can be out of his element as far as his emotions go. He's not connected to them as much as he should be. Somebody who can drink, somebody who's indecisive about what they feel. Somebody who does not see the value in others, you know, and it feels like this energy is kind of taken. If you're dealing with somebody that has treated you poorly, or if you're dealing with somebody who's in and out of your life and flighty and not helpful in regard to maintaining any type of stability within your situation, it may be causing you to fall apart a little bit. It may be causing you to disregard things in your home, your foundation, your life, your finances. It may be causing you to kind of lose touch with certain things. I don't like this energy. Recent past, Scorpio, you have the Six of Swords. Six of Swords talks about letting go of a situation. Sometimes it talks about getting to new ground, finding a different understanding in a situation when we leave things, you know, in ourselves. Finding a different understanding within ourselves when we leave things. Letting go of things that are tumultuous, things that cause mental frustration, and it's time to let it go. You know, was that a plan in the past, or is this something that you're implementing now? Was this something that you'd been thinking about in the past and now it's coming forward? In the present energy, we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. So 3 cards of fire, all in reverse. This is a lack of desire. It has no passion, no direction, feeling directionless. You know, if you are completely enwrapped in your feelings in regard to a situation here, where you may have been hurt by somebody, that can also show up here with you if this is you. That can show up here as a disregard for yourself, not paying attention to your emotions, because we're heartbroken about a situation, or it's caused a foundation to break apart, whether that be a literal home foundation and we are struggling to maintain, you know, our stability within our home. finances, whatever it may be, or there's a breakdown in the foundation of the relationship. Upcoming future energy, you have the 8 of Swords. So this is in your head. It's it's a lot of in your head. It's confusion. It is not knowing which direction to go in because we're confused. But it's important that I feel here like somebody's going to tell you something that you need to listen to, and it may not be the easiest thing to hear. It may be something that you've been waiting for to hear, or you've needed to hear in a situation. But that information is still kind of like, do I trust that? Can I trust that? But in a way this communication almost frees you to a certain degree. I'm going to clarify everything here, but yeah, it's like somebody brings you some sort of communication that is, what am I feeling? It's like you still may carry on a bit of confusion. You may not know how to trust them, or you may not trust them at all in regard to this, but whatever it is they're bringing, it cuts you free in a certain way. The energy where you're at within yourself right now, and the mental space, emotional mental space, you have the 4 of Cups. So good energy to be in, especially if you've been dealing with something like this. 4 of Cups talks about not accepting an offer, not making any offers, not moving forward with somebody. It talks about being dissatisfied with a situation, so we just don't want anything to do with it. Here we're pouring out the cup. This is often considered the Ace of Cups, or just an emotional experience that we've been through with somebody and we're dumping it out now because we've had enough. If you've been through something with somebody, you plan to let go of it a while ago, yet you've still been stagnating in it. If you do receive communication from somebody, you may still be confused about what it is that they bring true to you, if it is true or not, but that's not necessarily the defining point here. I think the defining point here is the act of communication and being satisfied with that. You can't, oh God, what am I feeling? You can't be, it's like the point to go is now. You can't be stuck with the idea that, what is that? They don't run the show. They don't run the show. Okay, they don't run the show. I hear that like coming through a funnel. It's like, they don't run the show. They don't run the show. They don't run the show. You can move forward. You don't have to be subject to them being present, or their input is inconsequential in regard to the direction that you go in, because they have made themselves inconsequential through their actions. Okay. And that's why we're letting it go. Okay, thank you. It's like sometimes I get like these things and I'm like, what are you talking about? What's coming toward you? You have the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. So here it's interesting, Scorpio, we also have this scorpionic energy here, the Grim Reaper. This is also part of the Death card. It's like a forced release, you know, it's a forced release. That can be very good. You know, this doesn't have to be a person coming to you. This can be an experience of relief that comes to you after this lets go, and after you let go of something, Scorpio. It's choice. Here, the choice was to hold on to something, to wallow in it, to stagnate in it until the reality came where we had to literally have a forced close of something. In reverse, this talks about letting it go. It talks about breaking it down so it doesn't have to have control over us. We don't give it our control. Sometimes with that Grim Reaper card, or Grim Reaper aspect of the card in the background, it's indicative of an energy where it was a little bit more difficult to release than we may have expected, and we just are now releasing it. We're now letting it go. We can actually step into this energy, okay? Six of Swords, moving away from things, finding calmer ground, calmer waters, emotions, calm them down. Hopes, worries, concerns, fears. You have the Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands talks about conflict. The Five of Wands talks about miscommunications, bickering, having difference of opinions, too much information from too many sources. Here, though, it's interesting because there's only one person standing here. Everybody's sitting down now. So one person here, I feel that this is this person from the past that you may have been dealing with. They come up as fire energy. You could be dealing with an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The energy here, though, between them is like they are difficult to deal with. They need to be the one in standing. They need to be the one who has the control, the one that dictates which direction this is going in. Considering this is in the area of hopes, worries, concerns, fears. This may be a worry, this may be a concern or a fear. Either way, though, at this point, it feels like that energy is also inconsequential because they've made themselves inconsequential. You are releasing it. You are letting it go. You're taking back your own power. This, I feel, is about taking back your own power, Scorpio. I feel that this is an energy here where we recognize our strength and the importance of maintaining your own level of God, how else do I have to say, how else should I say that? Like, you're paramount here. You're paramount here. This person, whatever they've done and whatever information that they bring you, sure, it will lead you to letting go of them, cutting them free. It's like they cut you free by communication or by whatever interaction that you have. It cuts you free, yet you're still not free from it because it's like you're still worried or concerned that whatever this person is telling you may not be correct. But the reality is, so what? Let it go. It's not important anymore. And I know that sounds harsh, and I'm sure it is important because your heart is affected. But in the grand scheme, you have to look at where you're actually being affected and how you're being affected by it. If you have put your life on pause, if you have crawled into a hole and kind of died inside of yourself when dealing with somebody like this, and it could be somebody dealing with Scorpio as well, this energy is very much coming up as a fire sign, but it doesn't have to just mean a fire sign. It's somebody who can be very domineering, very frustrating to deal with, in and out, very fickle, somebody who is passionate but passionless, just not so good. And it feels like somebody is out of their element. It feels like you are out of your element, Scorpio, or whomever this is for is out of their element, very emotionally distraught. That's what it feels like. And I saw the other card underneath this Five of Wands. It's the Hermit, and this is the outcome card here. So this is truly looking at the whole situation for what it is, okay? Truly looking at a situation for where it has you. Bottom of the deck, you have the Empress in reverse. So this is essentially an energy where we are, or we have been, not giving to ourselves, disregarding our emotions, just kind of living from hand to mouth, day to day, kind of meaningless energy in life. Things just kind of feel like they're meaningless. It's nothing, whatever. Like, you go through the motions, you're going through the motions. There's no true excitement in regard to how you want to experience life anymore. It's kind of just like this emotionally disrupted frustration that seems to continue on and on. I would love to give you guys a lovely, wonderful, flowery reading, and I hope that happens someday, you guys. But something needs to be let go of here. Something needs to let go, and it feels like you're doing it now. It feels like that's the energy that's being presented. It feels like you're letting things go. It just feels also like it may have taken a while, and it may have had to break you down a considerable amount to get you back onto the feet that you need to be on, or into the direction that you need to be going in. So let's go ahead and clarify this reading. Show me energy present for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Energy energy for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, please. I feel tired. I feel tired. I feel drugged. I feel tired and drugged. I don't know, kind of like a hangover. I don't do drugs, you know. I smoke weed once a month, maybe. And it's like a puff or two. Like, it's pathetic. I used to wake and bake like all the time as a teenager. Like for, I think 4 or 5 years, I was stoned multiple times a day the entire time. I don't do that anymore. I don't drink. I don't do anything. I like soup. Anyways, show me energy for Scorpio and perfume. I love perfume. That's probably my vice. I buy expensive perfume. Show me Scorpio. For the Knight of Wands, you have the Knight of Cups in reverse. Not a great combination here. Okay, so this energy is somebody that's in and out of your life, somebody who's emotionally manipulative, somebody who will tell you whatever you want to hear for the sake of getting what they want out of you. Not the greatest energy, not stable, not emotionally stable, not emotionally mature. Somebody who is fly-by-night, flighty, unresponsive, uncaring, and unknowing of themselves in regard to, well, themselves, but also how they affect you. For the Four of Wands in reverse, you have the Queen of Cups now. So she's upright. You have the King and Queen of Cups here. This is talking about paying attention to your emotions. It's talking about stabilizing your foundation to recognize what is most important to you. If you are out of your element emotionally, it's going to affect your home. It's like we have to get back into the land of the living, basically what I'm feeling here. We have to have compassion for ourselves. Whether you have compassion or not for this person, so be it. We have to have compassion for ourselves. We have to stabilize ourselves again in life, you know, in our own right. A lot of the time we can let go of that because we're hurt, we're frustrated, we are annihilated inside. But it's important to pay attention to what works for us, what makes sense for us, what's the truth for us, you know. The Queen of Cups is very compassionate. She's emotional. She is a nurturer. She is loving. She's genuine. And it's also important to turn that towards ourselves, especially if our foundation has been rocked to the core, you know. For the King of Cups in reverse, you have strength. So Leo energy here. You have fire sign here all over the place. Could be dealing with Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, but here I feel that this is you, Scorpio, or whomever this reading is for, because we have this energy as the main root of the issue here. And I don't mean like what they did, blah, 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 blah. This is the outcome of what's happened here. This is the outcome of how somebody is feeling. Emotionally wrecked, not doing very well. You may be drinking, you may be drugging, you may be overeating, you may be trying to avoid everything in your life. It may be, you know, you're not paying your bills, like things are going bonkers here. And here this is talking about stabilizing it. It's talking about finding compassion within ourselves to start to look towards a healing path and outlook. Healing paths, healing outlooks, looking at the whole situation for the truth of what it's given us and being okay with it, or at least understanding it to the point where you can move forward now, not being stuck in it. Strength for the King of Cups in reverse. This is an excellent combination. This is talking about having patience to persevere, having the will and determination to tame. You know, she's got her arms around that lion. She's taming the ego. She's taming the bestial side. She's taming the lower energies of ourselves. When we're emotionally distraught, we tend to cycle through those energies very heavily. We tend to be self-destructive. It's like an animal. It's an out-of-control animal. Here we are, it's taking care of ourselves, maintaining things, slowing down, you know, really evaluating how we feel regardless of what this situation has done. I feel like this is an energy where we're like closing a chapter in a book. We're looking at things in a way where it's like either there's been enough time here to really get a good sense of what makes sense for you now, or what is most effective and ineffective in your life, and choosing the correct direction. But it feels like a chapter is being closed. It feels like something here is, it's like a shift in awareness, and it's really looking at ourselves and realizing that we don't necessarily want to wallow in this any longer. The Empress, I'm sorry, the Six of Swords, you have the Eight of Pentacles here. So if you've been trying to get away from this energy for a while, yet you've still been stuck here, now it's time to put forth the effort. Now it's time to get things moving and actually turn this correct. The Six of Swords, it's in the past, but I feel that this is more of a emotion or a desire to get out of something, yet I feel that it was left there. I feel that it was left there, and I don't think that it was necessarily moved upon or achieved quite just yet. I feel that that was something that, it's like you're on the path, you're doing the steps, you're going, but then it's like you get sucked back in, And now we're really looking at everything, but it's looking at us. It's not looking at the other person. It's almost like that person, again, inconsequential. That word keeps coming up for them. So even if you don't feel that way now, try to look at the situation that they've put you through or what you've experienced with them and see where they are inconsequential. You know, even if they feel like they're the world to you and it's all totally fucked up and you know it's unhealthy, look at now where they are inconsequential. Not everybody's gonna be able to do that, but for those of you that can, it's gonna help you out of this constant cycle. You know, here we're putting energy towards a direction that we actually want to go in. We know that getting out of the situation is going to be absolutely helpful for us. Here we have the Three of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. I know it's the Eight of Pentacles, but each is represented here. The Five of Pentacles is in the background. Okay, that's letting go of things. It's a lack mentality. It can talk about being left out in the cold, and it feels like somebody may have left you out in the cold. It may have been that, you know, you really cared about somebody deeply and they didn't reciprocate that. It could be somebody that was at a distance, you know, that is also a possibility here. Whatever it may be, though, the connection was strong enough to essentially put you in a very unique space within yourself, a very painful space within yourself, a very disorienting, emotionally disorienting place within yourself. But it feels like now the tides have turned. We're changing things, we're moving things, we're going forward, and you are on board with that. You know, the Three of Pentacles here. Do you see the separation though? The Five in the background, the Three in the foreground. The Three of Pentacles talks about getting involved in situations with people that are effective in our life, getting involved in situations that we can build towards goal making, even if it's just in our own situation. Often it talks about connections with others, but this can also talk about leaving this so you can actually start to have healthier connections with others, where you can recognize what you don't want in your life and implement it into what you do want, you know, what you can work on, what you can leave in the background, you know. So Ace of Wands, you have the Page of Wands. So new direction. This Page of Wands, though, look at his face. He doesn't look too jazzed about having to leave a situation. He looks actually exhausted, but he's moving. The Page of Wands is somebody who a lot of the time they can be a communicator, they can be a messenger, but it's also talking about direction. It talks about, especially here with the Ace of Wands in reverse, it talks about finding direction after this has been a very difficult thing to do. Finding new direction after direction has been almost impossible to achieve. Where we've wallowed, where we've been frustrated, where we've been hurting ourselves. Now it's picking up, you know, picking things up and going, even though you may not know the direction that you're going in. It's that baby step here. The Eight of Swords, you have Temperance in reverse. So again, like I said earlier, with this Eight of Swords here, it's almost as if like the information that somebody's giving you, either it frees you to a certain degree, but there's still this confusion about it. Like, you got to let that go here, because the reality of it is, It's going to keep you emotionally imbalanced. It's going to keep you out of control. Temperance card in reverse, it talks about imbalances. It talks about not being connected with what is actually real. That also goes in connection to the Eight of Swords, because the Eight of Swords talks also about mental frustrations and calamity, where we basically create these problematic scenarios in our head, or we don't trust the truth, or we don't trust the information being given. Sometimes that information is not true. It could be more lies. In either way, this is again why I'm talking about this information. Whether it helps free you, some aspect of it is inconsequential. I don't know how you're going to have to figure that out, but some of it is. And Temperance, Sagittarian energy. The Four of Cups, you have the King of Wands. So, okay, you have a lot of fire energy here, and this is not a good card. I mean, it's not that it's not a good card. It's just, this is a harsh card. Like the King of Wands in reverse is somebody who's very domineering. He's very frustrated. He's upset. He can go into rages. He's, if he's not those things, sometimes in a sexual capacity, he can be somebody that is abusive in sex. And that doesn't mean like hitting you or raping you, although that can happen in life. I don't know that that's your situation or not, but it can happen in life. I mean, this is the world. But this is somebody who is very much about self-gratification, and they're kind of a pig about things. It's very much in tandem with this energy and this energy. Somebody will tell you what they want you to think or feel, or they'll toy with your emotions to get what they want. But it just is an indicator that they're not healthy. And don't hold on to somebody that's not healthy. Okay? The Four of Pentacles in reverse, you have the Two of Swords in reverse. So good. So kind of similar energy, Scorpio. But the Four of Pentacles in reverse and the Two of Swords in reverse, letting go, deciding to go in a new direction, freeing your mind of whatever it was that was sticking you, keeping you stuck. Okay? Letting it go. For the Five of Wands, you have the Six of Wands in reverse. So communication with this person, you're never going to get recognized here. It's their way or the highway. This is frustrating. This King of Wands here in reverse also is indicative sometimes of the Emperor in reverse as well. And it feels like there's an energy, an element of that in here as well, here, Scorpio. This is not, you won't get anywhere with this person. They always have to be right. They're the only one standing. They're the only one that matters. The Six of Wands talks about not having victory. It talks about not being recognized for your efforts, for who you are. It's a no-go because this person's stuck in their direction and how they want to do things. And this could be you, Scorpio. It's back and forth, you know. Some people viewing are cross watchers. Some people viewing are Scorpios. These are general readings. The energy here is what's most important. If it feels like it fits your situation, then it may have connection to that. If it doesn't, then it's not, you know? And that's just the reality of general readings for thousands of people. And when I say you, I don't mean, yes, you, Marge Simpson of Springfield, wherever the fuck. Or, you know, I don't know, Jodie Foster, whoever the hell you are. I love you, Jodie Foster. But I don't mean you personally. Like, when I say you, it's the general collective. Okay, I get a lot of people saying, well, you said this to me, and I don't know you, babe. Sorry. This is a general reading. The Hermit, you have the Star. So good. Excellent. So, the Hermit and the Star, incredibly, incredibly powerful energy, finding what it is that makes sense for you, trusting the intuition, tapping into your intuition, being genuine about what feels right, massive amounts of healing, recognizing what you've been holding on to. Have you been holding on to a snake? Have you been guarded by a wolf? Like, are you holding on to these essentially treacherous beasts? And it's like nursing a viper at your bosom, you know, like that kind of energy, like holding on to the terribleness just because it's so familiar, or we haven't been able to let go of it. You're letting go of it. You're letting go of it. This is beautiful energy, Scorpio. This is shift. It's change. But it is purposeful, insightful, and it's brought on by you. Okay? And if you haven't quite gotten there yet, this is the energy that we're heading towards. Okay? So it's literally about looking at ourselves in a situation and how we've been affected. Regardless of what this person may have done, you have to see the higher energy within that. We can play victim, and people do terrible things. They do. They really do terrible things with us. But we can play victim to something, we can hold on to something, or we can allow ourselves to be free. Okay? For the Empress in reverse, you have the King of Swords in reverse. Interesting energy. So you may be could be dealing with an air sign in Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. It doesn't have to be. This is an energy where we have been dealing with somebody who has been harsh in their words, harsh in their communication. There may have been just an entire lack of communication, an entire lack of anything. It's somebody who's very cold and distant. Even if they're not communicating with us, that could literally just indicate that there is unfinished truth to be had, or and that's again almost inconsequential at this point. But for some of you are going to hang on to that and you're going to give me that truth until I feel like it's right. But will you ever really know the truth? Feel yourself out of this. It could be somebody at a distance, or somebody who's kept you distanced and silent at this up until now. And what it's done is it's ravaged your confidence. The self-confidence has been smashed a bit, eaten away, That's really hard energy, Scorpio. So let's go ahead and pull a Nocturna, and we will be done. Show me energies for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. June 2019, Scorpio. Ooh, I feel hot. My face is flushing. I feel almost like a fever. Okay. It's that angry energy, when you're so pissed off, you radiate heat or something, or about to get super sick. I don't know, I feel fine. I mean, I've got scratchies in my throat because of the cottonwood in the air, but whatever. Anyways, you have two cards popping out, Scorpio. You have Mountain Lion, and you have Night Blooming Water Lily. So let's read Mountain Lion first, because that one popped out first. All right, Scorpio. Mountain Lion. Patience, nobility, boundaries. The Mountain Lion is an ultimate symbol for scrutiny. A reserved and solitary creature, the mountain lion preserves its energy and only attacks when the time is right. These noble big cats are sure of themselves. Being apex predators, they have few things to worry about. That's why they sleep so much. Mountain lions are also very territorial. A reminder that a reminder that setting boundaries in your life is very important. Absolutely. Distancing yourself from situations that bring inner conflict and turmoil, especially from somebody who's not allowing you to see a certain side of them, or opening up to you because of whatever it is they've hidden from you. That's not a good way to do it. But also maintaining that frustrated, stuck energy because of that. It's you have to see where you matter. You have to see what makes sense for you in your life and go toward it, versus just being stagnant and stuck in it. It's time to move on from it, okay? You can't stay here anymore, because this is absolutely detrimental. This is somebody who basically just disregards themselves. They disregard themselves emotionally, financially, within the stability of their home. They stop communicating with friends. It's they kind of die. They're still alive, but they kind of die inside. You don't want to do that. You don't need to be that. Water lily, or night blooming water lily. Night blooming water lily. Love, purity, optimism, eloquence. Water lilies are aquatic plants that grow in a variety of conditions. Given that they have a body of still water to reside in many cultures, they symbolize purity and love and are popular in wedding bouquets. They anchor their roots in the mud and produce a flower that blooms above the water. These flowers often return every year, even after the waters have dried up in the previous season. Perhaps you too have bloomed from the muddiness of life. Time to bloom from the muddiness and stagnation that you've been sitting in, Scorpio. Open yourself up to the possibility of stepping into a higher level of power within yourself and a higher level of understanding, looking at yourself through the lens of compassion. That's from another video. And I don't remember who. But looking at this situation from the lens of compassion. And somebody may be super pissed off at somebody, but it's about you now. It's about you turning it around so that you don't have to be stuck in this and subject to somebody who doesn't care. All right. I'm going to shut it down here. My name is Isel. I'm on YouTube as the Altruistic Mystic. And if you found this helpful, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. There's a donation box, or there's a donation link in the description box below. And I do want to say thank you for those of you who have donated. I really appreciate it. And I value that. It's very helpful for me, just because these are free readings and it's my time. And one of the reasons I haven't started doing personal readings yet for people is just because my time has been so very constricted, and I don't want to say I can do it and give it to one person and not to the other people, that seems unfair. So until I'm able to do it, I'm not doing it, until I'm able to be fair with everybody, I'm not doing it at all. So, yeah, I hope you're doing well, Scorpio, and I will see you in mid-June for your second reading. All right, take care, you guys. Have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.